Garangandar Vikagiri Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki jai. Nittil Pavishtam Vishnupa Rashata Rashata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja Śrīla Gurudev ki jai. Nittil Pavishtam Vishnupa Rashata Rashata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Nittil Pavishtam Vishnupa Rashata Rashata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Swami Mahārāja Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Nittil Pavishtam Vishnupa Rashata Rashata Shishmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Nittil Pavishtam Vishnupa Rashata Rashata Shishmar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosvāmī Prabhupada ki jai. Nittil Pavishta Maha Bhagavat Śrīla Gaura Babaji Mahārāja ki jai. Nittil Pavishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannath Das Babaji Mahārāja ki jai. Shri Rupa Anugariya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jeev Gopal Bhattadasa Raghunath, Śrīla Gosvāmī Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari, Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Śrīla Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Sarva Abhishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kund ki jai. Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai. Shri Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Purnamasi Vamaya ki jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Shri Rūpa Gosvāmī Pada ki jai. Rūpa Gosvāmī Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī Pada Tirabhav Titi Viraha Mahotsava ki jai. Shri Gauridas Pandit ki jai. Shri Govindadas ki jai. Tadiya Shubha Tirabhav Titi ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Hare Krishna. Alright, so let's sing something for Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī now. What should we sing? Should we sing Yankali Rupa Śrīla Natharata? Or Śrī Rupa Manjari Pada? Maybe let's do this one now and then we'll do Śrī Rupa Manjari Pada at the end. Oof. Okay. Yankali Rupa Śrīla Natharata by Sri Madhav Das. Had Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī not appeared in this age of Kali, who would have opened the doors to the great treasure house of Vraja Prem? Who but Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī could have separated the milk of pure bhakti from the water of all different types of mixed bhakti in the same way as swan separates milk from water? Who could have abandoned everything to perform bhajan in Vrindavan? Who could have written such scriptures? He was a honeybee amid varieties of blossoming yellow forest flowers and mind-enchanting lotuses. Without that honeybee, who could have known the art of drinking the nectar present yet confined within the forest? Who could have understood the glories of Mathura and Vrindavan? Who could have fathomed the intricacies of Vraj? Who could have understood the rati between Shri Radha and Madhav? Who could have known that love? By the mercy of his lotus feet, all souls may sing and inspire others to sing about the glories of the love of Shri Radha Madhav, thereby attaining true joy. O Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī, having surrendered at your lotus feet, may this Madhav Das be able to comprehend your unparalleled glories. Hare Krishna, everybody. Rup Manjari Didi, Govinda Saha, Ganga Mataji, and Sajan Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam. And I see there's other people there also. Dandavat Pranams, everybody who's watching. And Nri Hari Prabhu, Champak Didi. Okay, I'm a bit, you might hear it in my voice, I'm a bit sick right now. I'm kind of weak, so that's just explaining why I might seem a little out of it. 1 second, just get the mridanga and I'll be back. Ayam Kali Rūpa Śrīla Nadharata Ayam Kali Rūpa Śrīla Nadharata Tang Praja Prema Mahanidhi Kutarika Tang Praja Prema Mahanidhi Kutarika Kona Kapata Ugharata Kona Kapata Ugharata Ayam Kali Rūpa Śrīla Nadharata Ayam Kali Rūpa Śrīla Nadharata Nirakshira Hangsan Pana Vidhayana Nirakshira Hangsan Pana Vidhayana Kona Pritak Kori Payata Kona Pritak Kori Payata Ko sab tyaji bhaji vrindavana Ko sab tyaji bhaji vrindavana Ko sab granta virachita Ko sab granta virachita Ayam Kali Rūpa Śrīla Nadharata Ayam Kali Rūpa Śrīla Nadharata Javapito Vana Phula Phalata Nana Vidha Javapito Vana Phula Phalata नाना विधा मानो राजी अरविंद मानो राजी अरविंद सोमदुकार बिनु पान कौन जानता सोमदुकार बिनु पान कौन जानता विद्यामान परिबंधा अविद्यामान परिबंधयान काली रूप शरीरा न धारता यां काली रूप शरीरा न धारता को जानता मथुरा वृंदावन को जानता मथुरा वृंदावन को जानता व्रजनीता को जानता व्रजनीता हो को जानता राधा माधवरती को जानता राधा माधवरती को जानता सोई प्रीता को जानता सोई प्रीता यां काली रूप शरीर न धारता यां काली रूप शरीर न धारता जाकर चरण प्रसारे सकल जन जाकर चरणे प्रसारे सकल जन गाय गवाय सुख पाओत गाय गवाय सुख पाओत चरण कमलेश्वर नागत माधव चरण कमलेश्वर नागत माधव तव महिमा उरलागत तव महिमा उरलागत यां काली शरीर न धारता यां काली रूप शरीर न धारता तं व्रज प्रेम महानिधि कुटरिका तं व्रज प्रेम महानिधि कुटरिका कौन कपाट उगारता कौन कपाट उगारता यां काली रूप शरीर न धारता यां काली रूप शरीर न धारता रूप गोस्वामी प्रभु रूप गोस्वामी 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 प्रभु है प्रभु है प्रभु है प्रभु है हो जय रूप गोस्वामी प्रभु रूप गोस्वामी जय Rūpa Gosvāmī, Prabhu Rūpa Gosvāmī. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam Shubhanam Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Taruni Gopi. Hare Krishna Radhe Radhe. Alright, so, and everybody else watching. Okay, Manjari Didi. Pranams. So, sorry, I'm a bit, as I mentioned before, I'm a bit slow right now because I'm sick and my brain's not really functioning. But yeah, I was wondering what we should read. The one thing we could read is, there's this little booklet, The Distinctive Contribution of Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī. That's a nice little book to read. Otherwise, we could read a class that my Gurudev gave on this day. There's also something from Madhurya Kadambini, the second verse. Gurudev gives a whole commentary on Rūpa Gosvāmī. That's very beautiful. But the thing is, I made a video for that before, and you can find that on the Wind Up Devotion channel. So maybe no need to reread that, because then you could just watch the video there. So I think maybe let's read the distinctive contribution of Rūpa Gosvāmī. That book's a little more technical. Anyhow, let's do, first we'll do Mangala Charan, and then we'll... Ajnanatimirandhasya jnananjana-shalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Vansha kalpatarubhyashta Kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Let's sing Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam. This is by Rupa, oh wait, sorry. No, let's do Namo Mahavadanyaya, which is written by Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī. 1 second. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha. I offer pranam to that greatly munificent Lord who bestows Krishna Prem, which is inaccessible to even the demigods. My pranam to you, Krishna himself, but with the name Shri Krishna Chaitanya, and who have assumed a golden hue, being covered with the radiance of Shri Radha. It's written by Rūpa Gosvāmī. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. It's from Narottam Das Thakur's Prem Bhakti Chandrika. When will Shri Rūpa Gosvāmī, who established within this world the mission to fulfill the dearmost desires of the heart of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, personally give me the shelter of his feet. Then this is from Raghunath Das Goswami's Dan Keli Chintamani. Adadanas trinam dantar idam yache puna puna Srimad Rupa padam bhoja dhuli syam janma janmani. Clasping a straw between my teeth, I repeatedly beg to attain the dust of the lotus feet of Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī, birth after birth. And here's some other verses. This is the second verse of, of Madhuri Kadambini. Bhakti purvai shritang tantu rasam pasye dyadattadhi tang nomi satatam rupa nama priya janam hare. The most elevated saints, the Mahajans of former times, also accepted the shelter of Bhakti Devi. But now, however, by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's most dear associate, Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī, people who have obtained real intelligence are directly perceiving bhakti in its form of bhakti ras. Not just bhakti, but bhakti ras. I offer my heartfelt obeisances unto Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī again and again. And this is written by Kavi Karnapur in his Chaitanya Chandrodaya Natak. Priya Swarupe Daita Swarupe Prema Swarupe Sahajabhirupe Nijanurupe Prabhureka Rupe Tatanurupe Swavilasarupe. Actually, let's go over the meaning of this a little bit later. Let's finish the Mangala Charana. Tavai Vasmi Na jivami tvaya vina iti vigyaya devi tvam nayamang charanantikam bhaktya vihina aparada lakshai kshiptashtakama ditaranga madhye kripa mai tvam sharanam prapanna vrinde namaste charanarvindam. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare. Oh, Govinda Saha, is that the link to the video? Let's see. Oh yeah, that's one video. I did, this is from Srila Bhakti Vallabha Tirtha Goswami Maharaj's Sri Chaitanya and his associates. I read an excerpt about this section about Rupa Goswami. But then there's another video. Let's see, where is it? It's videos. It's this one. The Glories of Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī by Śrīla Bhaktivedanta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Here, I'll post the link in the video. Here, where is it? Restream. There, it's in the, should be in the comments now. Alright, so, okay, so now, shall we read this? This is from, by Kavi Karnapur. Prabhur Dvitiya Sarup, Prabhur Sarvasa Shri Rupe Bhakti Rasa Tattva Shastra Vistar. So Bengali says, Nijer Priya Sarup, Daita Sarup, Prem Sarup, Swabhavik Manogya Rup Vishishta, evam nijer anurup e vastuta Śrīla Rūpa Śrī Rūpa Gosvāmī te Prabhu Bhakti Ras Shastra Vistar Koriachilen. So this is the translation from BBT, in BBT Chaitanya Charitamrita. Indeed, Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī, whose dear friend was Swarup Damodar, was the exact replica of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he was very, very dear to the Lord. Being the embodiment of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstatic love, Rūpa Gosvāmī was naturally very beautiful. He very carefully followed in the principles enunciated by the Lord, and he was a competent person to explain properly the pastimes of Lord Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu expanded his mercy to Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī just so he could render service by writing transcendental literatures. So here is an excerpt from a class that my Gurudev gave at Rūpa Gosvāmī Samadhi, right outside his Samadhi, on this verse. I mean, this goes on a lot longer, but I just cut out the short part. My Gurudev spoke this outside of Rūpa Gosvāmī Samadhi in year 2000. Radha Damodar. My Gurudev said, I recall one verse written by Kavi Karnapur. He too received Mahaprabhu's mercy. When he was a young boy and wouldn't speak, Mahaprabhu put his own thumb in his mouth. As he began sucking it, he became decorated with various emotional ornaments. As bhav began to awaken in him, he became serious and began to recite the verse. The poetry that came from his mouth was like nectar for the ears, and thus Kavi Karnapur was able to write about Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī's relationship with Mahaprabhu. I think I'm going to sit down. Yeah. 1 second. Okay, so he wrote, Priya Swarupe Daita Swarupe, Prema Swarupe Sahaja Virupe, Nijanurupe Prabhureka Rupe, Tatanurupe Swavilasa Rupe. Gurudev says, what does, oh wait, I see there's a chat here. Okay, what does Priya Swarupe mean? Mahaprabhu's Priya, his dear friend, is Sri Swarup Damodar. Swarup Damodar is Lalita Devi, and Swarup Damodar's dear friend is Rūpa Gosvāmī. Rūpa Gosvāmī is therefore Anu Swarup Damodar, he who has all the qualities of Lalita. Priya Swarup. Mahaprabhu's own Swarup, his form and nature, is that of Radha Krishna. Actually, his Swarup is that of Krishna, and, as Krishna, Rup Manjari is most dear to him. Who is Krishna's Priya Swarup? Radhikaji. And Radhikaji's Param Priya, her most dear one, is Rupa Manjari. Therefore, from all perspectives, Krishna's, Radhika's, and everyone else's in Vraj, from all perspectives, she is Param Priya. Daita Swarup. In the form of Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī, she is most dear to Mahaprabhu, who is in the mood of Radhaji. Krishna's Daita is Radhaji, and her Param Priya, her most dear one, is Rupa Manjari, who knows her bhav. Because Rūpa Gosvāmī is thus able to broadcast her bhav in this world, he is most dear to Mahaprabhu. Daita means dear one, Rupa Manjari is Srimati Radhika's most dear one. Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati is Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Daita, the servant of one who is dear to Shri Varshabhanavi, Srimati Radhika, namely Shri Rupa Manjari. In this way, we worship Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Attainment of the shelter of the lotus feet of Rupa Manjari is the highest perfection of life. We pray for nothing else. Priya Sarupe, Daita Sarupe, Prema Sarupe, Sahajavi Rupe. Rupa Gosvāmī is the embodiment of Mahaprabhu's ecstatic love of Godhead. And how did he give that love? First of all, in the Upadeshamrita, he instructed the living entities how to become free from anarthas. By accepting even one instruction, one can get priti. Vacho vegam, manasakroda vegam, atyahara prayashascha, and after that, utsahan nishchaya dharyat, and so on. He gave all this, and step by step, he gave the definitions of all the stages of bhakti: shraddha, anartha nivritti, ruchi sadhan, bhav, prem, sneha, man, pranay, rag, anurag, bhav, mahabhav, madan, modan, and mohan. He has defined all. So this class goes on longer, but I just wanted to read that part for this Priya Sarupe Daita Sarupe verse. So now we will read, let me find it, the distinctive contribution of Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī. Where is it? 1 second, it should be here somewhere. That's strange. I should have it here. Oh, there it is. Oops, I have to wait for it to download. There it is. Just checking the comments really quick. Haribo Vidya Lala Sadidi. The distinctive contribution of Rupa Gosvāmī. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam. This is Prem Bhakti Chandrika from the Mangala Charan. And this book is, book was translated from the Hindi edition of my Śrīla Gurudev, written by my Śrīla Gurudev. When will that Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī, who has fulfilled the innermost desire of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on this earth, give me shelter at his lotus feet? Manobhishtam, the heart's desire. What is the innermost desire of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? It's anarpita charim chirat karunaya vatirna kalo samarpayitum unato jvala rasang sabhakti shiyam hari purta sundara dyuti kadamba sandipitaha sada hridaya kandare spuratu va shachinandanaha. It's from Shri Vidagdha Madhav 1-2. May Shri Shachinandan Gaur Hari, resplendent with the radiance of molten gold, manifest himself within your heart. It had been a long time that he had not bestowed that most excellent, exalted, radiant conjugal mellow, Ujjvala Ras, on the world. And so, he has mercifully descended in the age of Kali to bestow the wealth of devotional service onto himself, Swabhakti. Where is Shri, though? He has bestowed the wealth of devotional service unto himself, Sabhakti, Shriyam. And that's not in the translation, I don't see. And my Gurudev will probably explain it. Even though Shri Krishna, the original source of all incarnations, is endowed with 6 opulences, he is also Rasik Shekhar, the supreme enjoyer of ras, the mellow of transcendental relationships. During his manifest pastimes in this world, he personally tasted the 12 rasas, such as the mellow of conjugal love, madhuras, but he did not give that prem. He did not give that prem to the living beings of the world. Therefore, in the first portion, or the first sandhya of Kali Yuga, Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari, who is the manifestation of Shri Krishna when he is adorned with the mood, with the bhav, and the splendor, the kanti of Shri Radha, that Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mercifully appeared in order to bestow the beauty known as Shri, or Shobha, of the most radiant mellow of conjugal love, Unata Ujjvala Ras, upon the living beings of the world. So that's the Shri, yeah. So what is the beauty? I think it will explain it later on. Yes, it will. Okay. Parakiya Bhav, the mood of paramour love. Unnattojvala Rasa indicates Parakiya Bhav, the mood of paramour love. And it is only present in the hearts of Shri Radhika Ji and the gopis, who are her direct expansions, her Kaya Vyuha Sarupa. So Srimati Radhika and her gopis, their ecstatic emotions, known as bhavs, which include Madanakya bhav and Ruda bhavs, cannot be given to any living being. However, it is possible that the beauty, the Shri or Shobha of their bhav may be given. Shri Radhika, the embodiment of Hladini Shakti, the pleasure potency of the Lord, is the desire creeper of love, and she is the Prema Kalpalata. The gopis are her leaves and flowers, and her manjaris, or buds, are the beauty of all of them. That's a verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita. What is it? It's like, I think it's Shri Radhara Swarupa Krishna Prema Kalpalata. What is it? Saki Gana something Phala Pushpa Pata. Can't remember it. But yeah, the gopis are her leaves and flowers, and her manjaris, or buds, are the beauty of all of them. Just as in the breeze, these manjaris further enhance the beauty of the creeper, so the confidential female servitors of Shri Radhika Ji, such as Shri Rupa Manjari and others, enhance the beauty of Shri Radhika. Shri Krishna has appeared in the form of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu only to bestow the mood of those manjaris, which is known as Manjari Bhav. He came to bestow that Manjari Bhav to the living entities of the world through the medium of Shri Nam Sankirtan. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's innermost desire was to preach the paramour mood, Parakiya Bhav. Indeed, by the Lord's inspiration and mercy, Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī fulfilled this innermost desire of the Lord. Before the advent of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, people would look contemptuously upon this most effulgent paramour mood, this Unata Ujjvala Parakiya Bhav of Shri Krishna and the gopis. People would look contemptuously on this topmost thing. However, with strong scriptural arguments, Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī established that the Parakiya Bhav between the heroic lover Shri Krishna and his beloved heroines, the gopis, is the most auspicious, pure, and elevated mellow. In Ujjvala Nilamani 121, Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī states, Lagutvam atra yat proktam tattu prakritanayake na krishne rasaniryasa swadartham avatarini. The defeat of the paramour mood that is described in the Ras Shastras, which delineates the science of drama, is applicable to a mundane hero, not to Sri Krishna himself. Sorry, did I say defeat? I meant to say defect. So the defect of the paramour mellow is applicable to a mundane hero, not to Sri Krishna himself. Krishna is Sarva Avatari. He is the source of all incarnations. He is also the crest jewel of these incarnations, all of which control religion, dharma, and irreligion, adharma. Since the incarnations are not controlled by dharma and adharma, how is it possible that Sri Krishna, who is their source, would be influenced? Sri Krishna accepted the paramour mood known as Upapati Bhav with the desire of tasting ras, the sweetness of transcendental loving relationships. He is the cause of all causes. He's a sarva karana karanam. He, who is the origin of everyone, is Krishna himself without an external cause of origin. He is all-powerful, and he is the reservoir of pleasure. He is Akila Rasamrita Sindhu. The gopis are Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Prabhavavitabhis. Tabir ya eva Nijarupa Rupa Taya Kalabhi. That's from Sri Brahma Samhita 537. The gopis represent Ananda Chinmaya Ras, meaning the gopis' forms are submerged in the nectar of the effulgent mellow of the pinnacle of divine love. Moreover, being the personal expansions and counterparts of Sri Krishna, they embodied the functions of his pleasure potency, the Hladini Shakti. Therefore, where this Sri Krishna is the hero and these gopis are the heroines, how can there be any defect in this mood of paramour love that exists between them? It is stated in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila chapter 4 verses 15 to 16. Prema rasa niryasa korite ashvadan raga marga bhakti loke korite pracharan rasika shekara Krishna parama karuna e dui hetu hoite ichar udgama. The supremely rasik and merciful Sri Krishna desired to appear in this world to taste the essence of the mellow of divine love, and to propagate Rag Marg Bhakti, devotional service based on the platform of spontaneous attraction. Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī cites the following evidence from the scriptures, such as Srimad Bhagavatam, that details the Parakiya Bhav of the gopis. So there's this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:29-8. Tavaryamana pratibhi pratibhi bhratrir bandhuvi. The gopis did not stop, despite being restrained by their husbands, fathers, brothers, and other relatives. Then, same chapter, verse 20. Bhratara patayaschava vichinvanti. Being unable to see you, your mothers, fathers, husbands, sons, brothers, and relatives must be searching for you. Sorry, I need to sit up. Pati sutan vaya bratri bandhavan ati vilankyate. That's 10th canto, chapter 31, verse 16. O Achyuta, we have come here, overstepping our husbands, children, ancestors, brothers, relatives, and the boundaries of morality, propriety, respectability, and chastity. Then there's this verse from 32, that's the next chapter, verse 21. Evamar artojita loka veda svanamhi. O girls, for my sake, you have abandoned worldly obligations, Vedic principles, and even your own near and dear relatives. Naparayeham niravadya samyujam Swasadu kritam vibudhayusha piva. That's same chapter, next verse. O gopis, you have worshipped me even after breaking the shackles of household life that are difficult to overcome. Naham shriyonga nitanta rate prasadaha. During Raslila, Bhagavan Shri Krishna showed mercy to the gopis and fulfilled their desires by placing his arms around their necks. Such mercy was not obtained even by Lakshmi Devi, who always resides on his chest. Asamaho charanarenu jushamahangsyam vrindavane kimapi gulmalato shadinam yadustyajam sajanam aryam patang chahitva bhejur mukunda paravim shutubhir vimrigyam. That's Chaitanya Srimad Bhagavatam 10:47-61. Shri Uddhavji says, although the boundaries of Vedic etiquette and custom regarding husbands, sons, and relatives are so difficult to give up, these gopis have abandoned them to obtain the love of Shri Krishna that is searched for by even the Shrutis, the Vedic hymns. In order to continuously receive the foot dust of these gopis, I desire to take birth here in Vrindavan in the form of a bush, creeper, or herb. The implication of this statement is that the damsels of Vraj possess love that is far superior even to that of Rukmini Devi and the other queens of Krishna. Now there's Gopi Jana Vallabhaya Swaha from the Shri Gopal Tapani Upanishad, Purva 3. The phrase Gopi Jana Vallabha, meaning the beloved of the gopis, which is found in the Gopal mantra and other mantras, is emblematic of the paramour mood, Parakiya Bhav. Other than in Shri Ujjvala Nilamani, Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī has mentioned the Parakiya mood of the gopis in the dramas Vidagdha Madhav and Lalit Madhav, as well as in books such as Hansadutta and Dan Keli Chintam Komudi. The speciality of the Gaudiya Sampradaya. Hare Krishna Raj Bhuvan Yadavji and Indira Mataji and Prajumna Prabhu Mantramurti Mataji. Pranams to all of you. Okay, so the speciality of the Gaudiya Sampradaya. In some Sampradayas, only Shri Radha Krishna's pastimes of eternal meeting, of Milan, and sporting pleasure, Vihar, are accepted. Even within those pastimes, they do not accept the pastimes of concealed desire and longing, the prachana kamukata, the sulky mood, man, the trysts, the abhisar, the achievement with great difficulty, durlabhata, and opposition, nirvaran. That's all contained in this parakiya. In regard to the paramour mood of the gopis, they espouse the common sentiment regarding ordinary heroes and heroines, and look upon parakiya bhav as licentious behavior. Such people, according to the thought of Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī, are evil-minded. Rupa Goswami says, such people are evil-minded. In the following verse, Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī uses the interjection to express great lamentation for these people. Kim vanyaryatastasyaṁ idam eva mahamuni jago paramahangsyam cha sanghitayam swayam shuka. That is from Sri Ujjvala Nilamani 322. So Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī says that in Śrīmad Bhagavatam, which is also known as Paramahansi Samhita, the great sage Sri Shukadev sang the glories of the Vrajagopis Padakiya mood in a loud voice. Bhagavan Narayan first reveals this Paramahansi Samhita to Brahma, the grandfather of the universe, in the form of 4 verses known as the Chatushloki. And Paramahansa Sri Vyasadeva, who is the manifestation of Narayan himself, composed it. Sri Shukadev, the crest jewel of the family of Paramahansas, loudly sang the Samhita in the assembly of Maharaj Parikshit. Sri Parikshit was awaiting death in the presence of Devarshi Narad, Sri Vasishta, Sri Parashar, Sri Vedvyas, and other great souls. Those great personalities were spiritual masters, knowers of the supreme absolute truth, expert in relishing the mellows of devotion, and they were crest jewels of liberated personalities. It was at that particular time, in the presence of these personalities, that Sri Shukadev sang about this Padakiya Bhav in the Paramahansi Samhita, Śrīmad Bhagavatam discourse. He, the speaker, Sri Shukadev, and the audience, who included Maharaj Parikshit and sages such as Sri Sutta, Shaunak, Vidura, and Maitreya Muni, they were all exalted or even liberated personalities. Therefore, this mood of paramour love between Sri Krishna and the gopis can never be reprehensible or sordid. Bhakti Ras, the form of devotion. In the Vaishnav Sampradayas before Sriman Mahaprabhu, the practice of bhakti, that is, Vaidhi Bhakti, or devotional service according to regulative principles, was present. However, at that time, it was not widely accepted by scholars that bhakti is also a ras, meaning that its essential nature is that of relishment and transcendental relationship. It was solely Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī, who, in his analytical expositions, established that bhakti has the inherent nature of transcendental ras, extending... Sorry, one second. I'm going to turn off my camera, if you don't mind. Yeah. Sorry. So it was solely Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī in his analytical expositions established that bhakti has the inherent nature of transcendental ras, extending to the pinnacle state of Shringar ras, paramour, conjugal love, and the spontaneous loving devotional service, Ragatmika Bhakti of Raj. He used examples to show how bhakti ras manifests when rati, attachment, or sthāyi bhav, permanent ecstasy, combines with ecstasies such as 1. Vibhav, excitants that stimulate affection for Krishna in the form of alambana, supportive excitants, and udipan, impelling excitants. And then 2. Sattvika bhav, existential ecstasy. 3. Anubhav, subordinate ecstasy. And 4. Sanchari bhav, transitory ecstasy, etc. That maybe it's good if we read an example of that. There's a nice example in the Damodarashtakam. One second, let me just find it. Let's just go to Damodarashtakam really quick, and because it's important to understand that section, and those definitions didn't really mean much. I mean, like, it didn't really make sense. Where is Damodarashtakam? There it is. Okay. Just finding it. Anubhav, maybe. Okay, so let's get an example of this. And this is and with Mother Yashoda and Krishna. Okay. With great difficulty, Kanaya, who was lying on his belly, moved little by little to the edge of his bed, and then got down. Rubbing his eyes and crying, he somehow made it to where his mother was churning, tottering like an intoxicated elephant along the way. He caught hold of the churning rod and stopped it from twirling. Mother Yashoda's absorption broke. Seeing her darling son at her side, she immediately sat him on her lap and began breastfeeding him. Just by seeing her dear Krishna, her limbs became decorated by all of the Ashta Sattvika bhavs, the 8 types of bodily transformations arising from ecstatic love of God. Furthermore, the special emotion of motherly affection manifested. So there's like the 9th ecstatic, the 9th sattvic bhav, unofficially. So this special emotion of motherly affection manifested, namely, milk began to flow from her breasts. So now this is what we just read about. According to Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, baby Krishna is the Vishaya Alambana of Vatsalya Ras. That is, he is the object upon which motherly love depends. And his mother, Shri Yashoda, is the Ashraya Alambana, or the reservoir of love for him. Baby Krishna's gorgeous face is the Udipan, or the stimulus that rouses motherly love. And Mother Yashoda's tears, the standing on ends of her bodily hairs, the flowing of milk from her breasts, and so on, are the sattvika bhavs, or transformations of ecstasy in her body. So all these ingredients of love, namely Vibhav, which is what we just read about, that's Vishaya Lamban, Ashra, which is Krishna, Ashraya Lamban, which is Yashoda, and the Udipan, the stimulus, that, and then there's Anubhav, which are the deep emotions that are realized through outward expressions on the body, and so forth. They combined with Mother Yashoda's own Sthai Bhav, her permanent relationship with Krishna, her permanent feelings for Krishna, namely Vatsalya Rati, and began to make her relish Vatsalya Ras. So that makes it a little bit more clear, right? So let's go back to this. Hey, I lost my spot. No, okay, there it is. Oops, my camera's on. Let me hide it. There. Okay. The pinnacle state of Shringar Ras and the spontaneous loving devotional service Sargatmika Bhakti Avaj. Okay. So Rupa Goswami used examples to show how Bhakti Ras manifests when rati, when attachment, or sthai bhav, one's permanent ecstasy, one's permanent feelings for Krishna, combines with ecstasies such as vibhav. Oh yeah, this is what we just read. Vibhav, udipan, sattvika bhav, and anubhav. So yeah, we just read the example of this. And sanchari bhav. Bhakti ras contains 5 main rasas, or serving moods. 1, shanta, passive adoration. 2, dasya, servitude. 3, sakhya, friendship. 4, vatsalya, parenthood. And 5, madhurya, or shringar, conjugal love. And we just read yesterday, I think it was in the Gaudiya Bhashya, that shanta isn't really, it's considered by many not even to be a ras, because there's no actual feeling in it. It's just completely, doesn't exist in Vraj. But no, it said something even more heavy than that. Anyways, so those are the 5 main rasas, the mukhya rasas, and now the 7 secondary bhakti rasas, the gona rasas. 1, hasya, comedy. 2, arbut, wonder. 3, rodra, anger. 4, vira, chivalry. 5, karuna, pathos. 6, bhayanak, dread.
And 7, vibhatsa, disgust. Such an illustration of the form of devotion has never been seen before anywhere. Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī is Śrī Rūpa Manjari. Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī is Śrī Rūpa Manjari in the pastimes of Krishna. In the form of an eternal maidservant, she serves the divine couple in their pastimes in the secluded bowers of Vraj. However, Śrī Rūpa Manjari does not explain the process by which the mood of being a maidservant is obtained. In the form of Rūpa Gosvāmī, though, he has explained this. He states, Krishna smaram janam tasya. Krishna smaram janam chasya preshtam nija samihitam tat kataratash kuryad vasam vraje sada. That's from Shri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1-294. The male or female practitioner engaged in remembering and serving Shri Krishna should call to mind the ragatmika devotees, those who are endowed with moods such as sakya, friendship, vatsalya, parenthood, and shringar, conjugal affection, whose service he or she longs for. While continuously staying in Vraj, the practitioner should serve the divine couple under the guidance of such ragatmika devotees in his or her spiritually perfected body and his siddha-deha, always remaining submerged in the nectarian pastimes of the divine couple. By this alone, that desired mood can be attained. Without the specific guidance of the gopis, that parakya bhav cannot be obtained. Śrī Rūpa Gosvāmī is endowed with properties or attributes that are more distinguished than even those of Śrī Rūpa Manjari. By the life and pen of Śrī Rūpa Gosvāmī, the world has reaped greater benefit. And then we sang this at the beginning of our program, Yang Kali Rupa Sharira Nadharata. Let's just sing this part. Yang Kali Rupa Sharira Nadharata Tam Vraja Prema Mahanidhi Kutarika Kona Kapata Ugadata Ko Janata Madhura Vrindavana Ko Janata Vrajanita Ko Janata Radha Madhavarati Ko Janata Shoi Prita. It says Madhura Vrindavan, not Mathura Vrindavan. That's interesting. The purports of this song is that if Rupa Gosvāmī had not appeared, who would have revealed the parakya bhav, the paramour mood, which is the means to obtain the greatest treasure of the love of Vraj? Without his mercy, who could have understood the sweetness of Mathura and Vrindavan and the glories of the damsels of Vraj? Moreover, who could have understood the mood and love of Radha and Madhav? Understanding the heart of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. At the time of Ratha Yatra, Sri Gaurahari was speaking a verse from the Sahitya Darpan, whose purport only Sarup Damodar and no one else could comprehend. However, Sri Rūpa Gosvāmī, understanding the innermost desire of Sriman Mahaprabhu, explains the confidential meaning of that verse in another verse he himself composed. For this, Sriman Mahaprabhu lovingly slapped him on the back. So the verse that nobody was able to understand that Mahaprabhu spoke was from Sahitya Darpan is Ya Komara Harasa Eva Hivaras Ta Eva Chaitra Kshapas Te Chonmilitamalati Surabhaya Prodakadamba Nila Sachaivasmi Tathapi Tatra Surata Vyapara Lila Vidho Revaro Dhasi Vetasi Tarutale Cheta Samutkantate. So this is just a total mundane poem, like as if Mahaprabhu recited something from Romeo and Juliet or something like that. It's just not a devotional thing. This is also quoted in Padyavali, Rupa Goswami's Padyavali 386. That very personality who stole my heart during my youth on the banks of the Reva has now become my husband. The same nights of Madhumas have arrived. The scent of blooming malati flowers is again there, and the same sweet breezes are gently blowing with the fragrance of the Kadamba forest. I am also the same heroine in the performance of intimate pastimes. Yet even in this, my mind is not happy. It is hankering to go back to the banks of the Reva, under the shade of the Kadamba tree in the Vetasi grove. So then, the verse that Mahaprabhu discovered, that Rupa Goswami wrote, it says, at the time of Ratha Yatra, no one else could comprehend other than the Sarup Damodar, but then Sri Rupa Goswami, and he also understood the innermost desire of Mahaprabhu, and he explained the confidential meaning in this verse that we're going to read now. And then Mahaprabhu, after he read this, he lovingly slapped Rupa Goswami. So this is the verse that Mahaprabhu discovered. Priyas, by Rupa Goswami, say, Priyasoyam Krishna, say, Priyasoyam Krishna, Sahachari Kurukshetra Militas, Tataham Sarada, Tadidam Ubhayo Sangama Sukham, Tatapyanta Kelan, Madhura Murali Pancham Madrushe, Mano Me Kalindi, Pulina Vipinaya Sprihayati. It's Padyavali, next verse. O Saki, today in Kurukshetra, I have met my dear Shri Krishna, who is my life and soul. I am the same Radha, and we are both experiencing the same happiness of meeting. But still, my mind yearns for the forest of Vrindavan on the banks of the Kalindi, which is flooded by the bliss of the fifth note of Shri Krishna's flute. The meanings of the verses of Govinda Virudhavali, composed by Shri Rupa Goswami, are extremely confidential, and even Dikgaja Pandits are powerful, stalwart scholars. They cannot fathom their meaning. These verses reveal wonderful variety of ornamentation, alankar, and alliteration, anupras. Uttama Bhakti, pure devotional service. Shri Rupa Goswami describes that Shraddha, faith, the first step of pure devotional service, the first step of Uttama Bhakti, that leads to Nishtha, firm faith, then Ruchi, taste or relish, then that leads to Asakti, attachment, and that leads to Rati, condensed attachment, also known as Bhav, a ray of the sun of Prem, and then Prem, pure love. Then that Prem further progresses as Sneha, affection, Man, sulky mood, Pranay, intimate love, Rag, spontaneous love, Anurag, sub-ecstatic love, Bhav, ecstatic love, Mahabhav, topmost spiritual ecstasy, and Madan, topmost ecstasy in meeting. The definition of pure devotional service, or Uttama Bhakti, and its above-mentioned successive developmental stages, as described by Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and Ujjvala Nilamani, are not to be found anywhere else. Even scholars of other sampradayas quote these definitions in their speeches and commentaries. One example is Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī's definition of Uttama Bhakti. Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karma dhyanavritam anukulena krishnanu shilanam bhaktiruttama. It's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.1.11. When perpetual ardent endeavor, anushilan, is performed with a mood that is favorable to Shri Krishna and to the objects and personalities related to him, if it is unmixed with one, material attachments to knowledge of the oneness of the jiva, with the featureless impersonal Brahman, nirbhed Brahma Gyan. So it's devoid of that, and also devoid of attachments to fruitive activities, sakam karma, and to performing activities with, it's not, who's calling me? What? Sorry. Sorry. So if it's unmixed with those things, with impersonal knowledge and attachments to fruitive activities, karma, nishkama, and also to performing activities without personal motivation, nishkam karma. It's also not mixed with attachments to occupational duties in the varnashram system and to the practice of mysticism, yoga. So it's not mixed with these things. It's not devoid. It's because these things can be used. Knowledge, the karma, all these things can be favorable for bhakti. So that's why the word shunya wasn't used for that. It just says anavritam. It's not covered. It's not, yeah. And then the next one is, if it is devoid of desires for anything other than Sri Krishna and Krishna bhakti, or loving service to him, then such constant endeavor, such anushilan, is known as uttama bhakti. What time is it? It's 8:13. This section looks this section's 18 pages. I don't think I have time to read this right now. Yeah, because I have to go downstairs for the Rūpa Gosvāmī thing. But yeah, next my Gurudev will explain the characteristics of prem bhakti. Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī's definition of sadhan, or of devotional practice, is kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya bhavasa sadhana bhida nitya siddhasya bhavasya prakatyam hridi sadhyata. That's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 122. Sadhan bhakti is devotional service that to all appearances accomplished. Sadhan bhakti is devotional service that is to all appearances accomplished by activities such as hearing and chanting of the dull material senses. Bhav bhakti, ecstatic devotion, and prem bhakti, loving devotion, are obtained. They are obtained through this sadhan, through this practice. From this statement, one should not think that bhakti is attained by the activities of the senses. Bhakti is the eternally established nature. It is the nitya siddha bhav of the pure soul. Sadhan is the name of the process by which that siddha bhav, or perfected mood of the pure soul, is manifest in the heart through the activities of hearing, of shravan, chanting, kirtan, etc. Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī's definition of rati, of condensed attachment, here known as bhav bhakti, is as follows. Shuddha sattva visheshatma prema suryangshu samya bhak ruchi bhish chittama srinya krid aso bhava uchyate. Shri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 131. When the heart becomes melted by ruchi, an intense longing to attain the Lord, then what was previously sadhan bhakti, what was previously regulated devotional service, is called bhav bhakti. It's when the heart becomes melted by ruchi, then it becomes bhav bhakti. This bhav bhakti is a special manifestation of shuddha sattva. It is like a ray, the first beam of the rising sun of prem bhakti. Ananya mamata Vishno mamata prema sangata bhaktir ituchate bhishma pralado dhava. That's Sri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 142. When one develops an unflinching sense of ownership or possessiveness, mamata, in relation to Lord Vishnu, or in other words, when one considers Vishnu and no one else to be the object of love, such an awakening is called bhakti by exalted persons like Bhishma, Prahlad, Uddhav, and Narad. sarvata dvangsa rahitam yadyapi dvangsa karane yad bhava bandhanang yuno sa prema parikirtita. It's from Ujjwala Nilamani, 1463. The bond of mutual affection between a couple that is not destroyed even when the cause of for such destruction is present, that is known as prem. So even things that would normally destroy love, but that doesn't do anything, it actually increases the love, that is called prem. Samyang Masrinita, you see, like when Krishna enjoys with another, performs pastimes with another lover and abandons one lover, usually that would make the person angry and, cut off the person. But no, prem, that only increases the prem. So things that would normally destroy that bond, it actually increases it. That's prem. Samyam Masrinita Swanto Mamatvati Shayankita Bhava Sa Eva Sandratma Buddhai Prema Nikadyate. Says Sri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 141. When bhav, attachment towards Sri Krishna, the preliminary stage of transcendental love of God, when that bhav becomes intensely condensed, the wise call it prem. Prem completely melts the heart and produces an extreme sense of possessiveness or ownership, mamata, towards its object, Sri Krishna. Similarly, Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī has also defined sneha, affection, man, sulky mood, pranay, intimate love, rag, spontaneous. I wouldn't call rag spontaneous love, it's more like deep attachment. And then anurag, sub-ecstatic love. That's even deeper attachment. Then bhav, ecstatic love, mahabhav, topmost spiritual ecstasy, and madan, the topmost ecstasy in meeting, and so on. These are states that had never been described by others. Learned scholars of other sampradayas, even Mayavadis, monists of the school of the Advaitavad, they also illustrate their work with his definitions. Adadanastrinam dantai idam yache puna puna Shri Madrupa Padam Bhoja Dhulisyam Janma Janmani. It's from the Mukta Charita by Śrīla Raghunath Goswami. Taking a straw between my teeth, I humbly pray again and again that I may become a speck of dust at Śrī Rūpa Goswami's lotus feet, birth after birth. Okay, so that is that section completed. Now the next section of this book is the life of Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī Prabhu by my Śrīla Gurudev also. So it goes through the whole history. Oh, this isn't actually so long. Let's read this. And then we'll stop. Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī Prabhu is one of the 6 Goswamis in Sri Gauranga Lila, and he is Sri Rupa Manjari in Sri Vraja Lila. His forefathers came from Karnataka, South India. For a reason that is unknown, one of his ancestors left his native place and settled in Bengal. In approximately 1411 Shakabda, which is 1489 CE, in Moragram, that's Madhaipur, Bengal, Sri Rupa appeared in this lineage, which is that of Yajurvedi Brahmins descending from Bharadwaj Rishi, the son of Brihaspati. His father's name was Sri Kumaradev, his brother was Sri Sanatana Goswami, and his younger brother was Sri Anupam, or Vallabh, who is the father of Sri Jiva Goswami. From childhood, the 3 brothers were very much attached. They are very much attached to the feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Bhagavan. After Sri Rupa and Sri Sanatan finished their education in their youth, they impressed Hussain Shah, the king of Bengal, Gaudadesh, with their penetrating intelligence, generosity, and other outstanding qualities. The king appointed Sri Sanatana Goswami to be prime minister, and Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī to be Deputy Prime Minister. In 1514 CE, in the course of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's first journey to Braj, the Lord met the brothers in the village of Ramakeli. At that time, Srimad Mahaprabhu turns back and returns to Jagannath Puri. After this meeting, Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī's eagerness to attain Krishna increased so much that he quit his government position and left everything. During Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's second journey to Braj, when he was returning to Puri from Sri Vrindavan, he met Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī in Prayag and infused his potencies in the heart of his beloved Rupa by presenting an unprecedented explanation of Bhakti Ras Tattva. This episode is described in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 19, verses 136 to 137. Prabhu kohe shuno rupa bhakti raser lakshan, sutra rupe kohi vistar na jai varnan, para shunya gabhir bhakti rasa sindhu, tomai chakaite tar kohi eka bindu. Sriman Mahaprabhu said, "O my beloved Rupa, I will now give you a synopsis of the symptoms of Bhakti Ras. The nectarian ocean of Bhakti Ras has no limit. It is boundless and fathomless, and so it is impossible to describe in full. From that ocean, I am giving you one drop." For 10 days in Prayag, Mahaprabhu presented to Sri Rupa an unprecedented exposition of Bhakti Ras Tattva. Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī has explained all this in his writings, including Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Ujjvala Nilamani, Lalit Madhav, and Vidagdha Madhav. Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī is celebrated for his qualities, such as renunciation of household life, humility, and disinclination towards objects of the senses, all of which arose from his profound love for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His life is elaborately described in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhakti Mala, and other books. Srila Narottam Thakur Mahārāja awarded him the befitting title Sri Chaitanya Manobhishta Stapak, he who has established the mission to fulfill the dearmost desire of Sri Chaitanya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave him 2 specific instructions: to re-establish Braj Mandal's hidden holy places and to manifest devotional literature. From Prayag, Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī went to Vrindavan, and from there he returned to his home in Bengal to take care of family affairs and see to the education of his nephew, who later became known as Śrīla Jiva Gosvāmī. After this, he went to Nilachal, where he joined Mahaprabhu. While in Bengal, Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī started to write outlines of the 2 dramas Vidagdha Madhav and Lalit Madhav. To pacify his separation from Braj, he had desired to write about the pastimes of Braj and the pastimes of Dwarka as one drama. But while traveling through Orissa, in the town of Satyabhamapur of Sri Satyabhama Devi, in the town of Satyabhamapur, Sri Satyabhama Devi appeared in a dream and ordered him to present the stories as 2 separate dramas. In Nilachal, Mahaprabhu directly gave him the same instruction. There, in the assembly of his devotees, Sriman Mahaprabhu was delighted to hear the compositions that Sri Rupa recited. Only Rasik devotees will understand the joy that they experienced. Mahaprabhu infused Rupa Goswami with all potency and, appointing him Acharya, sent him to Vrindavan to fulfill his innermost desire. Therefore, Srila Narottam Thakur Mahārāja has written, Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Tadati Swapadantikam. When will Sri Rupa Goswami, who established within this world the mission to fulfill the dearmost desire of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, personally give me the shelter of his feet? The literature written by Sri Rupa Goswami includes Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Ujjvala Nilamani, Laghu Bhagavatamrita, Lalit Madhav, Vidagdha Madhav, Nikunja Rahasya Stava, Stava Mala, Sri Radhakrishna Ganadesh Dipika, Mathura Mahatma, Padyavali, Uddhav Sandesh, Hansa Duta, Dan Keli Komudi, Krishna Janmatiti Vidhi, Prayukta Khyat Manjari, and Nataka Chandrika. All right, so that's all we're going to read for today. I have to go down to the Rupa Gosvāmī conference now. I think I'll read more tomorrow, though. I can read this. Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī's instructions on the attainment of Krishna Bhakti Ras from the introduction of Shri Utkalika Valari by my Śrīla Gurudev. So yeah, we could read this. We can also sing Shri Rupa Manjari Pada, and yeah, maybe read some classes for my Gurudev and other things tomorrow. Oh, okay. So, I will stop this now. So I'm lying down like this. It's because as I mentioned, I'm sick right now. So, okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Rupa Gosvāmī Prabhu Rupa Gosvāmī, Rupa Gosvāmī, Jaya Rupa Gosvāmī, Jaya Saparshara, Jaya Gora Hari, Saparshara, Jaya Gora Hari, Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol. Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Gandhar Vikagiri Dhari, Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai, Jai Śrīla Gurudev Ki Jai, Jai Śrīla Param Gurudev Ki Jai, Śrīla Prabhupada Ki Jai, Shri Rupa Goriya Guru Varga Ki Jai, Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Raman, Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jeev Gopal Bhattadasa Gunath Śrīla Gosvāmī Prabhu Ki Jai, Jai Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī Prabhupada Ki Jai, Tadiya Shubha Tirubhav Titi Viraha Mahotsav Ki Jai, Jai Shri Gauridas Pandit Ki Jai, Shri Govinda Das Ki Jai, Tadiya Shubha Tirubhav Titi Ki Jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai, Shri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Ki Jai, Ujjvala Nilamani Ki Jai, all the books of Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī Ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo, Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavashacha, Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavatai Namo Namaha, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat pranams, everybody. So, right now I'm going to go downstairs, and Manjari Mataji just sent me a message to get the live stream thing set up. So, I'm going to work on that. Maybe I'll stream it on my YouTube channel. I have to see if I can set that up in time. It starts in 15 minutes. And then, tomorrow I will go live again, and we'll sing more kirtans for Rupa Gosvāmī and read more about him. All right. Hare Krishna, everybody. Dandavat pranams. Let's see all who's there. Oh, Dandavat pranams, Nri Hari Prabhu. Yeah, thank you. And Sajan Maharaj, Dandavat pranams. Facebook Live via Zoom. I don't know about Zoom. Maybe. That's a good idea. I was planning on putting it on maybe put it on my YouTube channel. It'll definitely be on, there's a Rupa Gosvāmī conference page on Facebook. So if you go there, you'll definitely find it. So, but yeah, I'm going to go figure out the situation right now. I don't actually have a plan. I need to do that quick. So thank you so much for staying with me, even though I was reading very slowly and without much enthusiasm, because I'm kind of out of it. But yeah, thanks for everybody for sticking with me. Hari Bol, Nri Hari Prabhu. And Champak Didi. Hare Krishna. Okay, I'm ending the video now.